Some people thought it was me who went to jail. Some people were like looking forward for me going to jail next because they felt like it was like a woman thing. Now women are going to jail. I was like, why? After my fellow colleague went to jail, we all stepped out of social media. We laid low. It was a really unpleasant, ugly, terrifying, pressing, anxious phase of all of our life. Because nobody wants to go to jail for a joke, for a piece of art that you performed. But once things settled down, when we came back on social media, when I came back on social media, because as the other woman in the team, some people, this is why, so people don't want to know. Some people thought it was me who went to jail. Some people were like looking forward for me going to jail next because they felt like it was like a woman thing. Now women are going to jail. I was like, why? Like, you know. So it was a lot of unpleasant. It was an unpleasant time, but it also. So I finished what I was saying. So once things settled down, after we came on social media, after I came on social media, this mob that was spreading hatred. They were like, oh, you're back, you ran away, no, you got scared and ran away. I'm like, yeah, of course. Are you crazy? Of course I was scared. I am not going to be this, again, this heroic person who would be like, okay, I'll fight until the end. I'll go to jail for my piece of art. No. If there is even the slightest threat to my personal safety or my peace of mind, I will not do it because I don't live off of this. Right.
And we've been doing that for centuries. That's why we have a fight or flight.
Exactly.
And we flight.
Yeah. And of course I was scared. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right? So it has how do I find courage? I don't think it is that. Because if I at one point feel like this is not worth it, so that is something I've taught myself. I am now, because I used to be I used to fight a lot in comments. I used to try and prove my point, knowing that I was not going to change their point of view, And it took some time and a little growing up to figure out this is not worth it. So for me, I don't think I even want to be courageous when we talk about that. I am now very conscious of my energy. I'm like, is it worth it? If not, okay, you do you. I'm going to be me. But going back to that, the ugly face, which taught me a lot of things. Good thing that came out of that was I had a lot of support. So from my family, especially from my parents, I know it was not easy for them because they're not used to. Stand-up is a new thing for the entire country, I think.
How do you tell your parents?
Yeah.
Going back to your friend Trevor Noah, who went and told apparently his grandma that he was going to be a stand-up comedian, and she went, clown boy.
Exactly.
How do you approach this? Mom, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
I did not tell them that. I didn't tell them. I told them that so they knew that I was into Toastmasters. It was easier for them to fathom. I would always tell them I have a show.
What are you showing?
Right. And then once I had a recording, I showed them the recording of the full set. And they were like, oh, you're very funny, And now they can relate. But when this thing happened, because they are very religious people, they're very close to the temple and all of that. And I can imagine the amount of pressure that they had. Because it went out. That's the other thing. This was a phase where I completely lost my faith in media. I and my friends, my close friends, we were talking about this. Now we know the moment media says something, we're very skeptical. Is this true? Because we know what happened and we know how they portrayed it. So the world will hear what they portray, right? The world will not pause to wait like what actually happened. So I know that it would have been a very difficult time for my parents, but they did not, even from a word, put any pressure on me. They would just, I remember I went home, it's all very scary. I went home because people were calling them, big thing. We had a big dane thing. I didn't go to the dane, I went after. And when I was about to come back, my dad, the only thing he said was, things will settle down. Don't worry. That was the only thing we ever spoke about that particular thing. They didn't question me. They didn't, because I was already going through so much. If I had to sit down and explain them, this is what's happening, it would have really taken it all. But them, even the two sisters, they would always be like, are you okay? Do you need any help? Things will settle. My two brother-in-laws, they were really helpful. My friends at work, now these are people, my close friends and my friends at work. So moments like this really tell you, right, who these people are. And I would, throughout my life, I will live paying this forward, and I will eternally be grateful to these people because they held on to me when they didn't have to. So little learnings, little blessings like that come through cases of adversity, and you also learn, okay, I thought this was a friend, but look at how they're now commenting about this without even knowing what happened. So things like realizations come through, and you always learn to pick up the learnings and then move forward. So courage, I don't know. I don't know if that's a battle I want to fight. I keep that courage to put into things that I want to fight.